Hello everyone, welcome to my channel again. So now I'm going to show you the other project. I think following the previous one, the code executor of Autogen. Now we are moving to the command line code executor. This is actually a part where we are going to interact with the LLM, the code executor, and to run the code in local environment. Uh, as always, I always suggest you to read carefully about the documentation because since Autogen is very new, if you ask the like ChatGPT or other LLM to get a solution to write the code, it does not always work. So I would suggest you to read it by yourself, understand the structure of the code, and try the sample code first. I'm going to show you how I run the sample code in local environment, what kind of result I get, and what kind of error I get. I wish it will be helpful for you because this is still another building block for you to build a more complicated, agentic conversation. So, without further ado, I'm going to move to the coding environment. Uh, before you try to run this code, my suggestion is that always prepare your LM Studio, load a model that you want, and start the server. Later, I'm going to also share with you why some of the models does not work. So I also tried to debug some of the issues from Stack Flow and different information source, but you do not always get the right answer. So I'm going to share with you how I solve the issue. First of all, let's come here to the code. Uh, First of all, you need to install the package if not present. Usually, I don't think it's a big problem because when you run this, it will give you the error code. You are going to come back to install the package. The first step is actually set a working path and also to define an executor. Okay, and this one is actually a very simple function to maybe not a print function to actually print the code result. So the code we are running here is a print hello world, and the language is Python. So this is a very simple example to let you know how you're going to pass this executor the code block. Okay, the code block has these components. This is a very simple one. When you try it, you see here output is hello world. Okay, and the file is saved here. So basically, this is a coding folder that I already created. On the left side, you can see here is coding folder. This is very simple. You can try. So I'm going to move to the more complicated part. First of all, according to the documentation, when you assigning configuring the agents, you have two ways. One is to use with Docker, because you see here is Docker command line code executor. I have never used a Docker before, but from my very initial understanding, I think it's an environment where you can execute the code and make sure it does not confuse you with local environment. Okay, but if in the future is necessary, I'm going to dig into it. At this moment, I just want to share with you. If you don't want to use it, just leave it, and you can go to the later part. Okay, so here we started the importing the packages like before, and set up our local LM Studio link, I would say, because this configuration of this model, Mistral, the name is you can set any name you like. Important is the URL and the API key. These are all in here, in the LM Studio. You can see. Let me see. here, yeah, we are going to see how to set up. Follow up. Let's come to the next part. Okay, so here, actually, I created first of all a conversible agent. It's called code executor agent. Okay, so it does not interact with the LLM. It actually will quote the executor to run the code, and it does not require human input. Then we can see here there is a system message setting to tell the code writer its job. It's like an initial setting of the role, and we're going to set also the code writer agent. It is also a conversible agent, but more uniquely, it has the system message setting of the above, and we configure this model to it. If you see the documentation, this configuration has many variations. Like if you actually link to the API of OpenAI and so on. This has many variations. For here, I configure it in local environment. It's very simple. I use the name I said before, Mistral. But you do not need to worry. If you change the local server, change it to another model, you don't need to change the code. This is one of the convenient parts of local LLM Studio. Then this code, this writer agent only writes the code, but do not execute the code. Yeah, I have not yet tried when we turn on this configuration. Because for now, I think because I already get the results, I would keep this setting unchanged. So max consecutive auto reply is 2. Okay. I think running a very simple code do not need to have many conversations. And the human input is never. Okay, so basically now we have a code executor agent to quote this executor to run the code. And we have the writer agent to understand a very complicated role, not very complicated, just a very comprehensive role to write the code, but not run the code. Here, I leave the original code block from the document of Autogen. You can see here, yeah, it is configuring the large language model to this GPT-4 and with the API key and so on. Okay, I'm running it locally, so I don't need it. I leave it here. So, first of all, we test the first code block. This is, I think, is the same as the documentation. So basically, we initiate this chart from the code executor agent, okay, which is a simple conversible agent, like a start point, and start the chart with code writer agent. So the code writer agent will write the code as we defined here. And the message is we manually input here. Of course, you can also choose to manually input, okay? Different ways to give the prompt to the workflow, to the pipeline. And we are asking it to write Python code to calculate the 14th Fibonacci number, okay? Then it will use this pprint package to print out the chat results. Let's see. Okay, this is just a result I got like 30 minutes ago. You can see, first of all, the code executor write this prompt to the code writer, and the code writer give back this code to the code executor agent. Then code executor agent actually executed this code with executor and give the feedback to code writer. And we can see here, this is output 233. I just checked, this is correct. Fibonacci number 14th is 377. Is correct. Sorry. 14th is 3. Yeah, sorry, my mistake. This one is wrong. Okay. I think it's a problem about the sequence numbering because actually the 14th is 337, 13th is 233. So basically the code is wrong, but we need to do some adjustments. Okay, so let's continue. We can see here, it gives the writer writes to the agent and the agent to the writer. Important thing is that this block has zero prompt or zero feedback message. Then we wrap up the chat result here. Okay, so which is the content and so on. You can also see that for the different I think a different conversation, you can see the completion token, how many tokens were generated, total token, and so on. If you are interested, you can check the, I think, efficiency of this conversation. Yeah, this is the result I wrote 30 minutes ago. The number, I mean, the sequence of the number, of course, we need to double check and to change. I think there's something wrong with the code. Okay, then let's see what I encountered these errors. So basically, yesterday and also just 1 hour ago, I tried to run this code, but the LM Studio configuration, you see I have many models. Previously, I used Mistral and Meta. They have the same problem here because whenever you run this code until this step, code executor to agent to code writer, this part you see there's a zero message, zero text string variable to pass to the next step. The system will give you an error code. It's called a message array must only contain objects with a content field that is not empty. So for Mistral, for Llama, we have this problem. But if I change to stable code instruct this model, I get a red result. Not a red result. I bypass this error message. So let's see the example of the error message. You can see this is a conversation between the agent and the local large language model server. And when you go down, you see here, this part, the content is empty, the role is user, and the string is false. So if you use the other two model, you will get an error here. Okay, so the error message is just what I showed you. Okay, so this is one of the breakthrough I have done for 2 or 3 days to actually find a solution for this error. We just change the model and try. And let's come back here. This is, if I remember correctly, this was one of the solution I get from the previous trial stage. You can see here, I get a number is 3,779,137. This is a quite strange number because when you check the table of Fibonacci number, 377 makes sense, but 9137 does not make much sense. So I guess there must be some issues here. Okay, so let's see. You can check the code. Okay, so to understand if it is a problem of the code or it is a problem of the large language model. Okay, so here you can see all the statistics about the cost. how many tokens actually in the prompt and how many total token. Yeah. So I make a mark here. The above result is different from the online document. When I say online document, I mean here. Okay. So basically, you see the output of the Autogen website. It's just 377. It's very clear. Does not have any issue. And yes, you can see if it is using GPT, actually the total token number is larger. Yeah, but I guess the GPT-4 API works better than local large language model. So let's go on. We try another instance to run the code. Okay. So the first time when I run it, I see this strange number, more than 3 million. Then I just rerun the code. And I'm going to show you first my previous result is 377. Let's see here. Yeah, it's right. This time we got it right. 377. And we can see the total token is more than 1,000. So it worked. Okay. So when I first try this code, the first time I run, I get a 3 million, a very large number. The second time I get 377, which is correct. And yeah, this is one part I want to mention to you. Always check the results that you desired or the real result, because this whole workflow may have some errors. So this is a previous example I want to show you. Let's see, 30 minutes ago, I run this code again. It's 377. Yeah, it's correct. And there is no issue, especially here. There's no, the error of zero content does not trigger any issue. It is fine. And the token is more than 1,000. When you debug this kind of issue, I always recommend you to come back to the console of the LM Studio to actually check the message here. It is a conversational log, and it is very useful for you to pinpoint the different issues. Okay. Yeah. So the first time when I run the block 2, it is obvious that the more tokens has better results. Okay, at least it matches the document 377 this result. So in the end, in the document, Autogen document, it asked the user to stop the executor. I'm not sure if this one is related to the Docker application, but you can try. At this moment, it does not serve anything, so I leave it here. Okay, so just a quick wrap up. For this command line code executor, we already incorporate several things here. First of all, we ask the agents to interact with each other, to write the code, and to give a feedback, to print out the output. Okay, it's a very simple numeric output, but it is successful. The second thing is that whenever you have a bug, you have the code not running, do go back to the log of the LM Studio to check if is there any issue, and check carefully with the Autogen documentation. The last thing is, no matter which pipeline you are using to build the multi-agents environment, to interact very simply with a local large language model, be careful and verify your results. Because as you see, I already got an error number result. So I wish this video is useful for you. If you have any question, any issue, just leave a comment, and I'm going to see you next time. So I expect that in the future we can explore together about the more complicated agents interaction